Hola, ¿cómo va?
Answering your question, very hard,
Yeah.
but definitely worth it. A urinal, and I said, "Oh, standing box." It is hard to predict, and if you have this answer, you would be a millionaire.
Oh.
I painted the three last. I painted Firefly. Spread light wherever you go. There's always a message.
Yeah. Oh, this is bloopers. Hi, Douglas. Hi,
Hey Douglas, Leo, come
Yes.
on.
He told me to say, Oi, como vai?
Oi, como vai? Eu vou bem, e você? Como vai?
I totally understood that. Yes. Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue dans notre podcast qui s'appelle It's Okay to be Karen. Et aujourd'hui, nous avons la guest spéciale et il s'appelle Jader et il est dans le département de provisionnement avec vous, Jader.
Salut tout le monde, moi je suis Jader Ranconi, je travaille dans le département d'approvisionnement au Canada. J'aime parler français, c'est pour ça qu'on parle français maintenant.
Oui, and now for the audience that speaks English, we're going to do this again for you. Welcome to our podcast at It's Gay to be Karen, and today we have a very special guest, and his name is Jader. He works in the area of procurement, and today we're very grateful to have him here. And without saying anything else, I'll let him introduce himself again.
All right, hello everyone. I'm Jader Ranconi. I am a senior professional in procurement. I've been doing this for like 18 years and living in Canada for 3 years and a half. I'm so happy to be here. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Of course, yeah. So before we go into any more conversations, I think this podcast is going to be very, very interesting because you'll learn so much more about procurement and you'll learn so much more about Jader, who's a very great human being. But before we talk about anything else, we'll do a rapid fire.
Oh my.
Are you excited for a rapid fire?
Probably.
You need to be very rapid though, very rapid.
How does it work? You ask me and I ask you, or you ask me and then I ask you after
I'll ask
that?
you one, you ask me one. And then have to be very quick, one word, one sentence. No
One
thinking.
word.
If you think, you lose.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay.
Cats or dogs?
Cats. That's a lie though. I like dogs. Sorry, I can't think.
You lost it.
I lost. That doesn't count. The host cannot lose, you know. If you had to go for a vacation to a country, where would you go?
Brazil.
Yes. Okay.
Do you like blue or yellow?
Blue. That's a real one.
That's an easy one.
If you didn't go into procurement, where would you have gone to? No thinking.
I would definitely be a writer.
Writer. Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Do you prefer running or swimming?
Running all time. Because one time I did swimming and I almost drowned. So don't do that.
You better run.
Starbucks or Tim Hortons?
Tim Hortons.
Nice.
Timmy's.
Affordable stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Your turn. No thinking.
Oh my goodness.
Jader.
Shoes or flip-flops?
Wow. Shoes.
So creative.
Yeah. Mountains or waterfall?
Mountains.
Mountains. Nice.
Banff Mountains.
Oh, very specific.
If I could choose.
Have you been there before?
Yes.
Nice.
What
How many
a place.
times?
Just once.
Once. I've
Yeah.
not been there yet.
It's a dream place.
Nice.
Car or motorcycle?
I don't know how to drive a motorcycle, so I'll do car. I'll do the basics.
Right.
Do you know how to drive a motorcycle?
Yes.
Oh, like here? Or
No.
back home in Brazil?
Back in Brazil.
Nice. So you're like a vroom vroom.
Very slow. Vroom vroom. It's like just vroom once.
Just vroom. I love that. Okay. So again, I hope you kind of understood us better. We kind of already know each other. So I hope you learned about us better. But question for you. So you've done procurement back home in Brazil, and now you've done procurement here. Were there early signs when you were a child that made you realize that you're interested in this area?
Well, I didn't know it was called procurement.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, I think it was related to my childhood. My father had a family restaurant, a small business, and I worked like since a very young age It was probably illegal in the 90s.
Yeah.
Then I used to be with my father everywhere to buy stuff, and I realized he started like going to multiple grocery stores to buy the cheaper but still good merchandise.
Yeah.
And then he said that's the way we increase profit, because we cannot control the market profits. He was teaching me procurement. He's at such a young age. He said you can control your costs, then you can increase your margin. And I said, oh, that's cool. And after that, I was working like serving tables, dealing with people, adults, multicultural people, because we're like that in Brazil. Different families, different everything, many differences.
Different
cultures, yeah. And then I learned how to deal with people, read them, understand what they need. Then I could suggest the best dish, or if they just want to have a drink or anything, you know, or just an appetizer. So I started dealing with people. And this is pretty much what I do currently in my adult life. Understand what they need and don't give exactly what they ask, because even them, sometimes they don't know what's the best. We can be creative and say, hey, what you need is actually that. What if we do this or that? So you
give options.
Yeah, you give options.
Alternatives.
You can be creative. Yeah.
I love that. In your early career, were you always planning to go to the procurement industry or procurement area, or did you want to go somewhere else?
My bachelor is in literature.
Ooh,
yeah, Portuguese and English literature. But I never taught, I went to any classes, anything like that. But it was something that pleased me a lot. But I've always worked in procurement. And I realized that we actually could use a lot of that knowledge in procurement. I read contracts with 150, 180 pages. So you got to be a reader, pay attention to things in detail. Communication, you learn that a lot in college, in the bachelor course. So you use that as a tool. So you would be surprised about how we learn about procurement in the literature. So I never thought about going to a class and being a teacher. Always liked what I do and still want to do it forever if I can.
Yeah, I love that. I know you've done like your MBA, right? Like in Brazil, it's one of the top Brazil's business school.
Yeah.
How do you feel like your MBA has helped your career trajectory?
Oh, it was a game changer, especially because my bachelor was in literature. It was related to education, but when I advanced in my career and I was working for bigger companies, having something specific in the commercial area was a foundation of my theoretical knowledge. And I was already working because they just accepted me in the MBA because I had experience. I had English, advanced English at a time, because it was the international business management. And then I was approved for that. So it was a game changer.
Nice.
At the MBA, I met the person that hired me for the first big company I worked in my life. So that flipped my career in a way that never went back to what it was.
Yeah, well, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Love that. In your MBA, maybe for those people who've never done an MBA before, can you maybe describe like what does the course involve, just with the course that you've been in, and maybe what kind of things that they teach you that maybe your experience couldn't have teach you or taught you?
Yeah. During my career, I always had support. For example, when I wanted to import something, or when the company I worked for exported things, we had a specific company doing that. In my international business management MBA, I learned a lot about Incoterms, about what goes behind the scenes when you're importing or exporting things. The negotiation part was very interesting too, because I was doing that like playing by ear, what I learned naturally with family, but I never formally studied that. I read some books, but when you have a teacher showing you strategies, leverages, the way you could use data to favor your company or your interests, it's very interesting. And I love that part of the MBA.
Nice. I know you also know how to speak Spanish, French, English, and all Portuguese, right?
Portuguese is my native language.
Love that. Do you ever feel like your like multilingualism has helped you get more opportunities And maybe if you didn't know all these languages, maybe your opportunities would have been different. What do you feel?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For example, I will tell you two things. French brought me here in Canada, and I met my wife in the French course. So it changed my life in a very positive way.
Yeah.
During my career, I had to do some global sourcing processes and negotiating directly with the owner or the head office. It makes a difference because you're talking to the people that are making the decision in their language.
Yes.
It shows that you respect them,
Yes.
but you want them to do business with you. Come here, let's talk directly. So it's definitely something that I had as an asset in my career.
Did you ever find the process of learning a language very difficult? Because I assume when you studied French, you didn't learn it since childhood. So did you find that learning curve hard?
Difficult, very hard, expensive, and tiring. Because I did all my studies in private schools. At the beginning, for English, my mom paid for that for 2 years. Then I got a job in the language school. I became a salesperson at the very beginning. And then I didn't have to pay it anymore. But I persuaded people so well with so in an intense way that I believed myself I could never stop studying. So I kept investing. After English, I studied Spanish. And after that, I was 20 years old when I started learning French. And I had to travel to another city. So besides working all day long, traveling to another city, spending a lot of money, investing. No, not spending, sorry, investing.
Yes.
I still had to sit down, read, do the verbs conjugation and
grammar.
There's no way to escape that. There's no shortcut, there's no miracle. Oh, you know Portuguese and English, now you're a natural French speaker. No, it's not the way it works. And I'm old school. There was no AI, there was nothing, no online tool for you to study. I had to open books, read, get dictionaries, then answering your question. Very hard, but definitely worth it.
I just have a comment. I think if we talked about it, conversation will go in a different direction. But because you said AI, I feel like our generation, especially your generation, you've done your entire schooling without AI. My AI part kind of came in university, but still, I've done elementary and high school without AI. I feel like those that are future generations, I think they'll have a tough time because then you're not training your cognitive thinking and those abilities for using AI. But that's a discussion for a different day. But anyways, you moved to Canada here, right? So that's a huge cultural shift, I feel. When you first moved here, maybe in your personal life or even in your career area, did you ever find challenges, something that you found very difficult to navigate?
Absolutely. Wow. From basic stuff like having a driver's license. When I got here, I had to do it all. It feels that we come back in life 20 years and you become a teenager again. You don't know how to drive, or but you are not allowed to. You need a job, but you have no references or experience. And then you need to get your first experience. I worked with teenagers, 16, 17 years old, their first jobs, and I was 30 something. And it was a very different experience, but it taught me a lot. Taught me about new generations and about culture as well. We Brazilians, we move, we touch, we get close. I think it's Latino behavior. I don't like to generalize, but we're naturally like that. And in Canada, you have personal space. And I like it, I respect it, and this is the way it is here, right? So this is something I had to learn by doing it. And English, because the English you learn at school, it's different than English you speak here. I didn't know what was a bunny hug. Hoodies.
Hoodies.
Someone forgot a bunny hug, said, "Where's my bunny hug?" And I said, "I can give you a hug. I'm not a bunny." Does my hug work for you? They said, "Where is my hoodies?" That's okay. It's here. You gotta adapt. There was another time a man asked me where was the standing box.
What's that?
And I said, "All right, standing box. Is he a singer? Is he a?" And he said, a urinal, and I said,
Oh,
standing box. Oh, it's over there.
I would not know
Even
that.
bathroom and washroom. I
Oh,
learned
okay.
bathroom back in English school,
Yeah.
and here people say washroom. So
During this time or during this phase that you had, did you ever feel like I should just leave everything and just go home? Like, I'm tired, I give up, I want to go home?
giving up, it's not a word for me.
Nice. I like that.
It's not,
Yeah.
simply. But we had a deadline, and we almost got there. You know, the airplane was almost hitting the ground.
Yeah.
Then we found a job, my wife and I, basically at the same time, and then said,
Nice.
all right, we're staying.
Thank God. Yeah.
But realistically, we
Yes.
brought our resources from Brazil, and the currency rate didn't like kids living in anywhere sharing the house with 10 other.
Yeah. It's just your place.
Just
you need
our
to
place.
handle it.
Yeah. So we had high costs. So we had a date, and a month before that date, I got a job, my first job in an office, and then making enough for living. And then I said, now I can afford having a car.
Yes.
My goodness, it was so good to be back. You know,
Nice.
I had my driver's license back. I had my car. I could leave and come wherever I wanted freely without expecting, like waiting for the bus or the next, you know.
Yeah.
It was a very good moment, a very good time.
You know, I want to say, I feel like, not to put you in an age bracket or anything, but just to say that I feel like when you reach a specific age, like after 30s, I think people find it very hard to adjust or like move from their comfort zone, you know? So the fact that you have this positive attitude of trying to do better, have a better life, that's very rare to see in today's world, you know?
Thank you.
I think like we need more people like you that have a positive outlook
Thank
in
you.
life, and I think that's very important. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Who would you say are your biggest motivators in life? You don't have to name one. You can name a lot of people.
I think it would be unfair to name one.
Yeah.
Because through life, you meet
so many people.
And I lost my father when I was 12 years old. So I had to try to look for other role models, other people that say, hey, I want to be like that person. But then not only one, get multiple examples.
Yes.
And I had even like employers, leaders that were role models for me, and colleagues like same age as me that were speaking more languages than I did at a time. And I said, that's the person I want to be.
Yeah.
And people that self-taught English, for example.
Yes.
I had the privilege to go to school to have a teacher explain grammar with a book.
Yeah.
My colleague, he works now in United Airlines.
Okay.
He speaks 5 languages. He learned that alone, English alone, at home.
Wow. No help.
No help.
Wow.
Just a notebook he found somewhere, started drawing as a kid in that book and studying and reading, and then he was speaking English. Very smart person. And we have similar ages. So this is the kind of people that I look for when I was looking for a role model.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Maybe for our audience, I know what procurement is. I know we talked a lot about procurement. Maybe for the audience, if you could describe what procurement is, and maybe what does your day-to-day activity look like in the procurement area?
All right. Yeah, procurement area is very broad term. We have operationals or tactical roles that are people that are in the heat of the moment. You need to buy these or that, something broke, you don't have it in stock, go procure it, buy it somewhere, you know. You have this kind of roles. You have other roles like what I do now. It's category management, and it's stepping back of this heat and look at the big picture. All right, where are we going? What are the company goals? Where do you want to be in 5 years or in 10 years? What are the markets saying? Hey, should we keep buying these now? Should we look for a replacement of this specific service or material? Can we do something more environmentally friendly? Can we do something more lighter? You know, it's not the day-to-day. It's not related to that. It's more long-term. However, the impact we have, it's in the day-to-day. Because if you don't keep the contracts working, the contractors doing what they have to do, you can cause a disruption. So you give the long-term maintenance, you develop the strategy, and support the day-to-day as well
Mm.
in a strategic way.
Mm-hmm. What do you think are some of the challenges that anybody could face in a procurement area?
Competing priorities is
Yeah.
something that,
Mm.
because unfortunately in life,
Mm.
nothing is expecting, it's things don't happen once at a time. Okay, I will deal with this, now with that, and now with that.
Yes.
Everything's happening at the same time, concomitantly. You gotta deal with it
Yes.
all, and you need to choose quick, to
Mm.
think quick. So this is something that is a challenge, competing priorities.
Yeah.
And another thing is like connecting to people, because
Mm.
you are interested in finishing your job, doing what you have to do, buying
Mm.
or developing a strategy, or related to commercial
Mm.
mindset.
Mm.
Production,
Mm.
it's thinking about, I can't stop producing. I need to keep producing. It doesn't matter how much it costs. I need it here. I need it now.
Mm.
So you need to connect to people and explain why, and if we could wait or do different, and how can we avoid this in the future.
Mm.
Unfortunately, these roles are disconnected, and we from procurement, we must be the bridge
Mm.
to connect these two worlds. What's the
Gotcha.
best long term and what's the best now?
Mm-hmm.
Let's work together.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Easier
Yeah.
said than done.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, being a bridge, that's quite difficult. Yeah. In the procurement area, what do you think are upcoming trends or the trends you've observed in the area itself?
It is hard to predict, and if you
Mm-hmm.
have this answer, you would be a millionaire, because
Mm-hmm.
the life we're living now. The Hormuz channel was closed. The
Mm-hmm.
fuel, the petroleum price went up.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared for every day having a plan B, C, and D.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to say, oh, that's the trend. We
Mm-hmm.
have AI helping us if
Mm-hmm.
we know how to use it, but
Mm-hmm.
AI doesn't do the creative part.
Mm-hmm.
You need to think about what are your challenges and
Mm-hmm.
how to develop something long term based on your experience and the interest of the companies.
Mm-hmm.
AI can't join all this together,
That's
because
true.
these are people related.
Yeah.
You have to talk to people, understand what they need,
Mm-hmm.
check if it's according with the company's needs
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
With that outcome,
Mm-hmm.
make projections. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard.
Mm. I feel like procurement is such a big area, right?
Yes.
What do you think are experiences that you had that you brought to the table that made you stand out from other people in the procurement area?
I wouldn't say stand out,
Mm.
because we are all a team, and
Mm.
no one is like, we are all together
Mm.
developing work.
Yeah.
But I think that bringing the perspective
Mm.
from Brazil, I
Mm.
worked in largest companies in Brazil and in the world,
Mm.
producing a different final product
Mm.
that I'm doing now.
Mm.
But we had similar processes.
Mm.
Believe it or not,
Mhm.
I worked with sugarcane mills producing ethanol,
Mm.
bioenergy, and sugar.
Mm.
And when I come to mining industries, we have similar processes,
Mm.
like flotation. We have in both countries, but for
Yes.
different reasons.
Yes.
We have similar machines,
Mhm.
centrifuges,
Yeah, yeah.
and then, as I previously knew that,
Mhm.
I could say, hey, why don't you do this or don't we do that? And brought
Mm.
insights
Yeah.
that made people at least think more about,
Have different
yeah,
perspectives.
couldn't we do it
Better,
differently?
differently, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say better. I would
Better,
say differently.
differently, yeah. Because we don't know which one's better.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
is the way we learn
Yeah.
with each other. This is
Mhm.
the way we develop ourselves.
Mm.
Bringing some outsider and say, hey, let's
Mm.
mix it and see
Yeah.
what
Which
what they get from it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. For people who, like future people, young people right now of the current age, if they wanted to go into the procurement area, what would you say are things that they should do, whether it be skills, whether it be networking, whether it be practical experience? What do you think young people can do to try and work in this area if they wanted to?
Definitely being curious.
Mm.
We are in procurement. It's a very valuable asset to
Mm.
be curious, willing to understand things.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
for example, a procurement professional,
Mm.
it's not a civil engineer,
Mm.
electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, or a
Mm.
scientist,
Mm.
or a chemical engineer.
Mm.
We're not engineers.
Mm.
I am not an engineer, but I've
Mm.
done it all. I worked with scientists when I worked for biotechnology companies developing hybrid corn seeds, and I had to understand that process so I could be able to assist them in buying the best machines for what they needed. I bought huge, massive structures. I'm not an engineer, but I had to go to the field, understand what was the main material used there. So being a curious person helped me in my career, and I think this is the most valuable advice I can give for
to young
people.
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think, in your own words, from your own exposure and experience, what do you think growth means to you?
growth, it's a broad concept,
Yeah.
but I think that when anyone, we should not have only one focus in life, like I'm just working, I get home and I sleep and wait for the next day. We gotta have multiple goals in life. I want to travel at least twice a year to a different country, for example. I want to paint a canvas every 6 months, for example. I need to work because you need that. And then when you have multiple goals and you advance towards your time frame and getting to that result, the outcome, I think that's growth for you, because
Small
you
stepping
know,
stones.
you small steps, baby steps. You're advancing in that field. I started painting when I was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
My first paintings, when I look at that, my goodness,
Terrible.
terrible. But I had to start at some point. Today, I find myself staring my canvas and saying, I can't believe
Very
I did that.
artistic.
Yeah, right.
What did you paint recently?
Well, I have different styles in life.
Oh, okay.
There was a time I was just painting like puzzles, images with puzzles.
Yeah.
Now I'm painting animals.
Oh.
I painted the three last I painted. I painted firefly, spread light wherever you go. There's always a message.
Yeah.
A donkey.
Yeah.
That means hard work.
Oh, okay.
Stubborn. Go, keep doing, don't give up.
Yeah.
And a rooster. Because I wake up every day for 40 before the rooster. And this is something to remind me of that. All right, I gotta wake up before the rooster if I wanna reach my goals.
Yeah.
Talking about dedication, people say, "Oh, you do all that because you don't have kids." Yes, I don't have kids, and this is why I find time.
But if you had kids, you think you'll still be able to do that?
I think I would, but I totally understand it's a different dynamic in life of people that have one or multiple kids.
Yeah.
And as it's just my wife and I, we can find time for reading, painting, going to the gym, working, you know.
What does Jader like outside of work, apart from painting?
I really like to read. I frequently go to the library. I like to attend workshops about writing because, as I said, in the long term, very future, maybe after I retire, I could become a writer. But I know it's a very fine craft. It must be refined with years, and I'm not in a rush. So this is something I like to do.
Quality over quantity.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. If you had to tell the audience, you can say anything you want, like a saying, a quote, in your own language or in French, Spanish, or English, what would it be? For example, my mom, she always says, if it's meant to be, it will happen, right? So this is always in my head. Like, if something is yours, it will eventually come to you if you work hard, right? So that's what my mom told me. Is there anything like that, something similar, or anything that's an inspiring saying that has stuck with you throughout life? Maybe that's hard.
That's a hard one. I have a saying that I write every notebook I have. I write something, one sentence, and I keep reading that every day before starting working. It's my mantra.
Yeah.
I have one from Leonardo da Vinci, but actually, what I want to say is the one I heard recently. That's in English.
Yeah.
The only one that changes is a baby with dirty diapers. So people don't like change.
I see.
Yeah. So whenever you come proposing, hey, let's change, let's do different, think about that. No one likes that, but you gotta bring it the right way, with the right light, with the right numbers, so you can persuade people. You can bring them to the same page that you are. Because for people like me, I like to be disruptive, do things differently. And for a reason, always for a good reason. But I cannot come to any person anywhere and say, hey, let's paint these walls in red. Why you want to do that?
Yeah, explain yourself.
Tell me.
Yeah.
What's the benefit? In how long are we gonna do that? What's the impact, you know?
Yeah.
So I read that before start my workday, because I always think about how can I bring more people on board with this mindset. And it is challenging because this is a behavioral skill. No one is teaching in any college, any MBA, how to be creative, how to be innovation driven.
Yeah.
How can you learn that? It's something I have in myself. And I can't teach that to people, but I can show them the benefits of it.
That's true.
And that's the challenge.
Yeah. You've been in procurement for now 18 years?
18 years, yeah.
If you look at procurement, the procurement area now, and maybe 18 years ago, what do you think are some of the positive changes you've seen over time in the area?
Positive changes now.
Over time.
Volume of things you do. Today you're way more productive with all Excel advances, dashboards, even working with, you know, multiple site productions. Back there, when we used paper, when we were more like depending on ancient technologies to communicate with the supplier to solve a problem, you couldn't do everything you do now. I think this is technology advancements made, they were game changers in procurement field of work. Efficiency. Yeah. However, there is another thing that it's worse today. Back in the past, we used to call people more, listen to the voice. Hey, this is Jader. Is it raining over there? How are things going?
Yeah.
People, unfortunately, nowadays, they just want to send an email, send a message, a text. Hey, here it is. And you're negotiating or you're dealing with millions. And many people, they don't even know the other person. Back there, it was not this way that it was different.
Like you've lost that emotional connect, basically.
Yeah, personal connect, I would say.
Personal connect.
Not emotional, because sometimes you gotta be, cold. And do the hard decisions, but personal connection is something that we are losing. Not everyone. I don't like to generalize.
Yeah. What do you think are important habits for creating a mindset of having a long-term career? So, for example, nowadays, the newer generation, we see people switching in and out of their jobs very quickly, right? People don't want to have a long-term career in a particular area. If someone wanted to have a long-term career in that area, what kind of mindset should they have?
First, I wanted to comment on that having different careers with time. I think that's something positive. Because some people in the past got to a job, they hated it and then stayed it forever. 30 years, sad, complaining, being pessimistic, hating every day because people didn't want to change. And this is something that I think it's positive now. People change it, say, hey, I don't like it, I will try that. And it's good, this freedom. But if the person finds something that, I love this and I want to keep doing this forever, I think that reading is a very powerful source of vocabulary, knowledge, and you see different perspectives from author, or sometimes if it's a business book, with the personal experiences within that industry or something related to that. So you don't need to live 100 lives. You can read 100 books and learn about those 100 lives.
Oh, I like that saying. Yeah. So our podcast is like a platform, right? So like it's on social media, people watch it, people give comments. If you wanted to use this platform to convey any one message, anything, could be work-related, life-related, family-related, anything, what would that message be?
Oh my, this is a lot of responsibility.
It could be anything.
Yeah, I think that be the protagonist of your own story. Bad things happens every day. Tragedies, people die. And if we like become the victim and say, oh, it's just me. That's a huge problem. It's not going to take you anywhere. I'm not saying I'm romanticizing tragedy here. Please don't take me wrong. But be the protagonist. All right, I had a problem. I need to deal with that. And I want to do better and be better. How can I do that? Have a plan.
That's true.
And don't let AI write your story for you.
Yeah,
You're writing an email and AI is completing what you're saying. You don't want to say that. What if you don't want to say that? You know, don't be comfortable with technology. Use that wisely.
Yes.
Don't let AI make decisions for you, even your own words. You know,
that's true.
Not against AI. I love AI. AI is amazing, but we are amazing too.
Yes, I agree. Do you have any regrets in life so far?
Many regrets. Going more to the gym, for example. Because I studied first in my life. I learned languages. I went to my college. Then I did my MBA. Then after I did all that, I said, all right, now I gotta take care of my health and work out. I didn't have that culture as people have here with like having a sport or something like that. And it's easier for them. As an adult, it's hard to learn. I gotta find something, a sport or something like that. It's so hard. So this is something I regret. I should have started earlier or looked for it somehow.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite restaurant here in the city?
I love Delish by Tish.
Very nice. They are sponsors. Do you know?
Oh, really? Yes. No, I didn't. I frequently go there because I love their soups and the environment, people studying or writing. I feel so smart there. Even if I'm not doing anything smart, I feel that,
I'm smart.
Oh, I'm so smart here when I come here.
It's so nice because like the vibe and like
the vibes
and the floor, it's kind of like wooden, I think. I don't know. It's so nice there.
And even the artworks on the walls.
On the walls. Yeah. And they have like I don't know if you've noticed, there's paintings and then they have like paper to explain the paintings too. And I really like that. It's very nice.
That's a great place.
Yeah, they have like soup, cheesecake.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite.
My favorite too. Yeah. Because of course there are sponsors. Who doesn't love them? Yeah, go to Delish by Tish, all of you. It's very nice. I know you have a book. We'll talk a little bit about it. If you want to tell the audience anything that you've written, any books, any songs that you want people to know about, and that they can follow you and subscribe you on those platforms.
Yeah, I'm new to this. My books are in Portuguese. I write poetry. And it's very hard to translate poetry
in English,
in English or any other language, because the words, they mean multiple things.
Yes,
and there are like false cognates. Oh, this mean this in this language, but in other language it's totally different. So it's really hard. So I feel better writing in Portuguese. And my first book, the only book I have published, it was last year. It was published. It's a non-profitable book. Because I wrote about the patriarchy. It's called patriarchaic, something that's archaic, should stay in the past. And I made like 60 poems talking about how bad patriarchy is for women and men and the society in general. And every money I get from the book, I donate it back for institutions supporting women in Brazil.
So nice.
Yeah, we got to do our share, right? Not just complaining, how unfair the world is.
You spoke about nonprofits. Maybe one last question I want to ask is, do you do volunteering outside of your workplace? And if you wanted to, maybe you don't have to, but if you wanted to name organizations that people can also volunteer in, what would those be?
Yeah, I've always done that. Even in Brazil, I worked for 5 years back in helping people in a homeless situation. And then I moved to Canada, and in Canada it's cultural to volunteer. So this is amazing. I've done many different volunteers here through the company or independently, but I wouldn't know how to say any specific name of any specific company. But I highly recommend that, because when we are volunteering, we rethink, we reconsider, reflect about many things in life. And you're helping others. Doing something, not just saying.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're in a position to do it, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Exactly.
No harm to do it, guys. Why not? Okay, with that being said, I have two things for you. You're going to pretend like you did not know about this.
I did not know about it.
Okay, you did not know about this. This is from Shop Stop.
Oh
They
my!
do
Thank
very
you very
nice
much.
drinks. They have many locations. They recently opened in Saskatoon. They're husband and wife, and they have a lot of nice bubble teas and drinks like that. So
Love bubble tea.
if you know where Farmers Market was before, that's kind of where they are.
Okay.
So very close by to the building. Yeah. And then this is Westgate Books for your wife because she loves reading
Oh
books.
yes.
So Jader's
Thank
wife,
you.
this is for you. He's coming home with that gift
Camila,
card.
this is for you.
Yes, this is for you. Okay, before we say any further, Jader, thank you for coming. This means so much, and I was so happy when you said yes to this podcast. And thank you for sharing so much about your podcast, so much with me in my podcast.
In your podcast.
Yes. Do you have any last words to share with the audience? Any last things that you want to talk about?
No, I would like to thank you for inviting me.
Course, yeah.
Well, I like to talk, as you can see.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a pleasure and an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching us. I hope you've learned a lot more about procurement, the procurement area, and what that role involves in. I was going to say, if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave it in the comment section below, and me and Jader will help to co-reply. And with that, I'm going to say bye.
Bye.